Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS and ESS Small Business. Welcome to this briefing on crowdsourced funding equity raising. Who might be interested? Briefing number 2 in this series. Crowdsourced funding equity raising represents, in my opinion, the most significant change to the financing arrangements for small businesses and medium-sized enterprises in Australia in the last 35 years. Why? 35 years ago, Section 708 of the Corporations Act was introduced. That section enabled small proprietary companies to be able to raise up to $2 million from up to 20 investors in a 12-month period. That was great at the time, and it still exists in the legislation. But now we have crowdsourced funding equity raising, which will enable a company to raise up to $5 million from any number of shareholders in a 12-month period. And then, if the market supports the company will be able to go back to seek further capital in the following year or years. Australia's playing catch up because the rest of the world went down this path about 7 years ago. So these countries have already given their small businesses and medium-sized enterprises the opportunity to be able to raise capital. And from reports around the world, billions of dollars have been raised by small and medium enterprise companies over the last 7 years. So now it's Australia's turn to get started in this process. So let's look at some of the types of businesses that might be able to utilise crowdsourced funding equity raising, because in the first instance, you may be saying, I don't think this is for me. Well, are you running a company that wants to scale up? Your turnover at present might be $1.5 million, but you really aspire to have a $3 to $4 million turnover in the next few years. Or your current turnover might be $3 or $4 million and you'd like to get to $7 or $8 million. Or your current turnover may be $8 or $9 million and you'd like to get up around $12 or $13 million per annum. No matter what your vision, to scale up in that manner, your company is going to need an injection of cash from somewhere. And crowdsourced funding equity raising is an ideal way to find that cash, because you don't have to go and deal with your bank, and at this time they're rather difficult following the Royal Commission to deal with. This could be the break that you need. But a caveat on what I just said, you will need a strong business plan. You will need a vision for your business. You must be able to articulate where your business is going to go if you're going to attract investors. You might be wanting to expand. You might be wanting to acquire some other businesses. As long as you can document it and put it into a process, work with your accountant to achieve that, you'll be well underway. Or you might be the CEO and you've got a big, audacious idea. Now, as long as that big, audacious idea can be documented and then implemented, you could be underway. Or you could be a company that has invented a new product, process, or service, and now you want to commercialize that product that you've invented or developed. And you've heard of early stage innovation companies, but you've now found out that you're too old, you're over 3 years of age in your company, or your expenditure for the last 12 months was over $1 million, or your income in the last 12 months was over $200,000. Therefore, you cannot be classified as an early stage innovation company. But crowdsourced funding is still a very appropriate way for you to try to raise capital. Or you might be trying to implement a succession strategy within your company and you need some cash injection. You might have a good business, you've got some good ideas and you've got vision, you've got a good team. crowdsourced funding, equity raising is very beneficial for those types of companies. So let's look at it. There's no loan, therefore there's no loan application required. You don't have to go and make an appointment with your bank manager. There's no security required, so you don't have to mortgage assets your company already owns or what a shareholder owns or someone else like your mother-in-law owns. You don't have to do that. No personal guarantees are required. I can hear you saying, what a relief, but you've got to go through the process. And that will take some organising, but we and our subscribers around Australia, accounting firms who are part of our network, can assist you on this journey. And no monthly repayments of principal and interest required. That'll be great, wouldn't it? But you've got to run the companies properly, and you've got to be aiming to make a profit and be able to pay dividends, because that's what the investors want. So if you've got any other questions that we haven't answered in this brief or the other briefs that are part of this series, please don't hesitate to send me an email, peter@ESMEs037.com.au. Good luck with crowdsourced funding, equity raising. Have a great day. Goodbye.